let me tell you, we have on the SLS what we call spirit in an intimate moment. Believe it or not.
Wait, oh. Wait. You're saying ghosts have sex?
Yes, why not? It's the highest. Listen, when you think about it, because I had to break this really down, right?
Okay.
Because
two ghosts,
yes, and
have sex.
Yes, and they're in a specific part.
Is it like couples from here that passed over?
Yes, absolutely.
Hey, you, if you're watching this, subscribe. I know you're watching because we have the analytics, and a lot of people that watch us are not actually subscribed to our YouTube channel. So subscribe and like at the Geena The Latina Show on YouTube, on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, at the Geena The Latina Show. Let's get back to the show. This is going to be a great episode. I'm so excited. We are dropping this with Halloween coming up.
Yes.
LaShawn Butler, she is a lot of things, but what we're going to talk to her about today is you're an intuitive medium and paranormal investigator.
Yes.
And if you're watching this, not listening to this, all this stuff is what she uses on her. I'm not going to call them ghost hunts because you don't like to call them ghost hunts. What do you call them exactly?
Ghost hunts. I'm not a fan of it. I just haven't figured out exactly what to call it.
Yes.
Because I have and because I have a partner that does this with me, we have such a respect for spirit.
Yes.
But that's the ongoing term is ghost hunts.
Yeah, ghost hunts. So really quickly, so you have a company. What is it called?
Yeah, it's called Paranormal Road Trip.
Okay.
Yes, and we're all over social media. And it's my partner and I. Her name is Jamie, who's also an intuitive medium. And pretty much everything that I am, and then some. I learned a lot from her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So before we get into all the paranormal stuff and what all these things do, and she actually has, which by the way, I'm going to point with this out. Explain what that thing is, because if it goes off, that means something's going on here.
Yeah,
you can hold it up if you want.
Okay. So this is one of my favorite K2 meters. And the reason why is because it has a light on it. So if the EMFs is really like a lot, it turns red, but it'll also beep. So you don't have to just watch it, you can hear it.
So if it beeps right now while we're talking, that means there's a spirit in the room?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll just leave it there, but I just wanted to point that out, that if that beeps, that means there's a spirit in the room. And I'm just gonna ask you, what is this bear thing real quick?
So this is Boo Buddy.
Okay.
I call him Boo Bear, and he is a paranormal investigator on his own. He asks questions.
Oh.
Okay. If he's touched, he'll like, oh, that tickles.
Like he says stuff?
Yes, like he says stuff, but he also is an EMF where with temperature changes and stuff as well. So.
Wait, what do you mean?
So if the temperature comes in or spirit comes in and it's warm, then he'll light red. If it's cool, then he'll light green.
Oh, so if he goes off during this, that's what's going on?
Well, he's not on right now because he'll be talking the whole time.
Oh, okay. So we turned him off.
He'll be talking the whole time.
What's his name though? Boo Bear?
Boo Bear. I call him Boo Bear.
Okay.
No, you want to turn him on?
But he's going to talk throughout
He
the whole
talks
thing?
the whole time.
But so wait, he talks if there's a spirit in the room?
Yeah. So if spirit touches him, he'll have a certain phrase that he'll say. If the temperature changes drastically, so usually with spirit, it's about a 3 to 5 degree or more temperature change, then he'll register that and lets us know that, okay yeah.
You know what, let's turn him on. And if he becomes too distracting, then we will turn him off. How about that, right?
So
Are we turning him on? Yeah, director Cliff? Yes?
It's going to make a really long noise.
Over there?
Don't be scared.
Okay, if he talks too much. So when you're saying like he talks too much, that means there's...
Every couple of seconds, he'll ask a question.
Wait, so what does that mean right there?
So it's doing his baseline.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a baseline. Yeah. So mainly, and he's just getting a feel of everything. He's coming on. So he's...
My name is Geena. Or is he talking to spirit? Who is he talking to?
He just asked questions that we would ask, you know?
Okay.
Absolutely not. I want him to look into your soul.
So we ask him questions?
No, he asked the questions to spirit. And then spirit responds to those questions with touch or temperature, things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should we turn? Okay. I want to get into the back story of how she is and why she knows so we. does that mean?
See, he's just counting. It's a
There's
trigger
4
item.
ghosts here?
Yeah, so this is a trigger.
I want to give a quick shout out to our food sponsor, Cravings Fruit. They're a fruteria in Santee, and they have lots of fruit with chamoy. Today, they brought us some tortas, sandwiches. They even got candied apples. Of course, they have all the green juices, and this, I believe, is a watermelon juice. Shout out to Cravings. Thanks for being our food sponsor.
No, it's not for girls. It's a trigger item. So, like, this is great for people when children are in spirit. They like to play with it, or someone with a childlike spirit will like to play with it.
Oh, okay.
So, this is considered one of the trigger items.
Okay, so what does that 1, 2, 3, 4 mean?
So, it just means that's what he says. He's programmed to say it. So, he comes pre-programmed with a whole.
What did he say?
I think he said, well, do you know what 2 + 2 is?
So what is is he talking to someone?
No, he just throws these out in hopes that spirit will respond.
Oh.
So there's literally probably about 30 or 40 questions that he'll ask back to back to back.
And then how do we know if spirit responds?
Because then he'll say something like, "Oh, that tickles."
So okay, so he asked a question, he hasn't responded, so no one's here yet.
Yes, okay. Yes, now, yes. See,
he's trying
to get spirit.
So maybe we'll turn him off or leave him on. Okay, we'll let him on. If he becomes so what we're waiting for is a response from him.
Yes.
Not just a question.
Yes. But I want to make it very clear that when it comes to any of the equipment, to get something is it's exciting but can be rare, if that makes any sense. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah.
What did he say?
Can you finish this? So you hope in spirit say,
Oh, okay.
Now if that happened, I'm running.
Okay.
I'm just telling you.
Okay. Should we turn him off? Let's turn him off for a second. Okay, we'll turn it off for a second.
Okay.
Yeah, we get how he does, though,
yeah.
right? Well, we'll turn him on when we start going through the stuff. Good job. Okay, let's backtrack again, LaShawn.
Yes.
Okay, I want to hear your story and how you got into all of this.
Woo, let me tell you, it started when I was in the womb. No, well, you know what? Just the quick side of it is, my father has been a pastor since he was 19 years old.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So I grew up in the church, in the Black community. So I've been able to see spirit from a very young age. However, I had to push that to the side because I didn't know what it was. Think about it. I'm 50 years old. I don't care. I'm 50 years old.
You do not look 50,
I
by the way.
appreciate
You look
that.
beautiful. I mean, not that you wouldn't, but you look really.
Thank you. It's all the makeup, yes. But so I'm 50 years old. So back then, we didn't have the shows that we have now to even give you an inkling of an idea as to what's what. So you got to think about it. In my community, and I'm speaking from my point of view, is you were either a priest, priestess, or you practice voodoo. Okay, of which practicing voodoo was never good. Now, I just want to say, though, where there's good, there's bad. So there's good parts to that as well. But nevertheless, I never did it. And so not knowing, I literally thought I was crazy. So did my family.
Like when you were a kid?
Yes.
Because you would see, quote unquote, dead people, for lack of a better term.
Yes.
Okay.
And to the point where growing up, I ended up having to go to a psychologist. They put me on meds. I got sent away. And this is something.
Is it because, like, as a kid, you were just talking to people and you would see them, and then people thought you were crazy?
Reacting. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And so it's kind of crazy. I'm grateful for the experiences, though. I'm just gonna say that. But so all of that takes place. But then we come to 2018 when I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and in that time frame, my gifts started to explode. Okay. But then there was a 3-week time span when things took place. I ended up getting gifted a Reiki session. And at that point, I wasn't sure what Reiki was or anything, but I went to her, it was gifted to me. This lady basically lost it. She was crying. She's telling me, my body was a shell. All these beautiful things were coming. She said things to me that no one has ever said to me before. And then she said, you're supernova. And I'm like, what is supernova? That sounds pretty cool, but okay, So I'm like, I'm supernova. And she says that you're an angel here on earth. Okay, so then she goes to telling me a bunch of things that happened throughout my life that nobody could have known.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay. So I leave. I shut down for a complete week. Not talking to family. I was not talking to friends because what am I to do with this information that she gave me, right?
Yeah.
So I ended up calling a good friend of mine who believed in my gifts so much that she would pay for me to go to different classes and learn and things like that.
And your gifts meaning talking to the other side?
Yes, talking to the other side, the natural healer aspect. There's a whole lot to that. And I explained to her what was said and she said, I know. And I'm like, who knows? She said, we've been talking about you. And I'm like, y'all talking about me?
Yeah.
Behind my back, what's happening here? But nevertheless, longer story short, I ended up doing an emotional release with the psychic medium of getting a lot of issues out and things and screaming and things like that. The next week, which was on Monday, I went to bed. And I had this sensation, this feeling like the best way I can describe is that I was being pulled from the inside out through my feet. So I closed it down, started back up, closed it down again. I'm like, oh crap, I'm just done.
Yeah.
So I go to sleep. I wake up the next morning, I saw that my sister had called. Now, my sister is A-type personality. She ain't calling nobody after 7 o'clock. I immediately knew that something had happened in her home. And I called her and I'm like, you all right? Like that some activity happened. She was like, the cats were going crazy. She said just all these noise and things were happening in her home. So I'm like, I told her what my experience was. And I said, well, what time was it? And she said 10 o'clock. Well, 10 o'clock was around the time I had my experience because I jotted it down. I journal everything.
Yeah.
So the next day, which was the Wednesday, I got a call from her and my mom, which is not unusual. It happens. We on video. But my sister just blurts out, Mom had something to tell you that she was going to take to her grave. So I'm like, okay, well, what is it? So she tells me that she tried to abort me twice. Okay. So my mouth is wide open. I'm stunned. I'm crying hysterically because I have grown up my entire life saying that I felt like I didn't belong and I felt like she did not like me. Mm-hmm. So for me, when she brought that up, it gave me that sense of peace, if you will, because that wasn't a piece of the puzzle that was to the entire existence of my life.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm not crazy. I know I felt the way that I felt. And I told my mom, I said, I hope you're not ashamed or embarrassed. I said, I think that you've always loved me, but I don't think that you like me because I wasn't supposed to be here. Right. So I asked her, I said, well, what happened? What made you come up with this? Or what made you bring this up? She said, I was laying in bed and I was thinking, how did I birth an angel into this world? And she said, immediately the smell of the room had changed to what she remembered from when she was in the room getting the abortion. And she said that the lights got really bright. And she started to feel the pain that she felt when she was going through that process. Wow. And I asked her, I said, well, when did this happen? She said, on Monday. So remember, Monday I had my experience. My sister had her experience. Neither one of us told her about it.
Yeah.
So I said, well, what time? She said, it was about 10 o'clock. Are you kidding me?
Like everything happened at 10.
Everything happened at 10. And so we just talked and we talked and we talked. And then from there, not even kidding you, my gifts exploded even more. I always say it catapulted me through the atmosphere at that point.
Like that was like kind of like a rebirth almost?
Yes, it was. And I'm grateful. It was going to happen anyway because I was always experiencing seeing things. It's just how I dealt with it was differently.
And you didn't know, you weren't trained probably how to. Because there's a whole thing, like people don't realize that, like, look, I believe in talking to the other side. Yeah. Absolutely. You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't realize, like, you have to, it's still a skill, like you have to hone into it.
Yes.
So a lot of kids or people that have this don't know what to do with it. Right. So they feel overwhelmed and like they put you on medication, do all this. But once you can have someone, I'm sure you had a mentor or someone that taught you how to use your gift.
Yes.
Then it's like, oh, the real cool stuff happens.
Ooh, it was such a relief for me, because I absorb people's energy. So I'm a real strong empath. Yeah. So I absorb people's energy, but with doing that and not releasing it caused a lot of physical issues,
Yep.
medical issues. So once I learned to do that, then it became a lot easier. So one of my main gifts is I can feel people's pain, whether they're dead or alive. And so when I explain that to people, people are like,
hey, you, subscribe right here at the Geena The Latina Show. Subscribe and make sure you follow us on social media on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram at the Geena The Latina Show. All right, let's get back to it.
oh, that's horrible. That's a curse.
You can feel people's pain if they're dead or alive.
Mhm.
So if someone died, you could feel what happened to them.
Yep.
And then if someone's going through pain right now, you could feel it.
Yes,
Okay.
I have. I tell people I've had heart attacks, pancreatic cancer. I've been shot, and that was an interesting situation because we were on live, Facebook Live doing readings, and I felt like I had been shot.
Yeah.
And I was begging the whole time, somebody please claim this person. Please claim this man, please.
Yeah.
And nobody would, but they did afterwards because of who he was. That we couldn't
You didn't
talk
want to do
about it.
public.
Yeah.
And so I've never had a reading session with you
Yeah.
or anything like that, but I have with other mediums. And one medium that happened before she even came in, she came into our radio station and she was like, came in feeling sick and like, she's like, I feel like I got shot and like all these things. And my brother had been shot, and the second I told her that, the pain was released and she was okay.
Yeah.
So I believe that because I saw her in physical pain and then all of a sudden she wasn't.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
You have to release it because I would carry that for a long time and I don't have that kind of time. Okay.
Yeah. That's too much.
Yeah, it's just way too much.
Yeah.
I appreciate the pain now because it gives me the ability to be able to experience what other people experience.
Yeah.
And it's also goes into my spirit dictionary where I can say, okay, this is what I'm feeling and this is what my sign is for that.
Yes.
Yes. So it's crazy.
So fast forward from there.
Yeah.
So then you really hone into this skill.
Yes.
And so then you just start connecting with the other side like all the time. Is it something like you choose to do or what?
Yes, it's something. That's a tricky question. Okay, because they come when they come.
Yeah.
But I have a thing within my household that my hours are from 9 to 5.
Yeah.
You are not allowed in my room, okay? And anytime somebody come in, I'd be like, okay, you must be new. You guys want to take him out and explain to him what is happening. But for the most part, I can shut it down.
Uh-huh.
I feel when I want to feel. I do ask for it a lot, especially when doing paranormal investigating and stuff. I want to feel everything. I want to sense everything. So yes, I go in what I call naked at that point.
Yeah.
But yes, I can shut it down. I can bring it up.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's good. You need to, because you need to have not be feeling like having heart attacks and stuff all day because someone else had one. Right?
Geena, it's hard. Imagine being in a store, which has happened, and I'm running from people.
Yeah,
because of their energy or somebody, their people is with them. It's happened.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, who should live like? I should be able to go and shop peacefully.
Yeah, so you have to like protect yourself.
I
That's a
have to
whole
protect
other
myself.
thing.
Yeah,
but I want to get into these paranormal investigations. So you discover you have this, it's exploded. How do we get into what do you do? Like, you tell me about these paranormal investigations you do.
Oh, guys. So we actually go into people's homes. People reach out to us to go into their homes because they're experiencing things. So we'll go in and we'll do investigation. We'll take all our tools in. But we also teach our clients empowerment, how to take back their own space as well.
Because you'll hear stories of like, I can't live in my house because of this. Like, can you tell us a story about that? Like me, or are you allowed to?
We can talk because absolutely.
Like a client you had that,
we actually just had a situation, an investigation we did a couple of weeks ago where we went in. It's an older couple, and I feel really bad for them because there was a lot that was happening. And she had been grabbed by her foot and yanked. She was experiencing all kinds of things. People are ready to go because they feel that if I leave the space, then I'm good. And that's not always the case, So it's just like...
So if you're being haunted, don't think it's your house. house, it's you?
Right.
Okay.
No, well, not you,
Oh.
but it could be that space. It could be the land. Because when you talk about California, we're talking Native American land, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of things happen around that land. So it could be the land. It can be the house. We've had people who have committed suicide in the homes, which was the case in that particular case as well. Because
Did they know that? No.
They knew that. I
Oh.
did not know that though,
Okay.
because what happens is if I get a case, I don't tell my partner Jamie what's happening because for her to sense and everything, and vice versa. So this was one that she got. So I had to go in and experience everything. And what I saw was the first thing I saw was
Wait, real quick. Let me point that out. Wait, if you went kind of quick on that.
Yeah.
So like you guys are a partner. If she gets a case, then she sends you because you don't want to be like tainted knowing what happened, right? And vice versa.
Exactly.
So they want to go in there clear so that they don't have any info.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So I love that because that's like some people don't believe in this stuff. And it's like, well, you already know. They told you everything.
Right.
No. So you guys flip it to the other.
Flip it.
Whoever gets the call, the other person's doing it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now she's there with me, but I have no information whatsoever.
Yeah.
You know, so so that's what we do. And then but with that particular house, the first thing that I noticed was there was a female in the closet crouched down. And
not a real one, right? You're talking
not
about
real.
a ghost.
This is a spirit.
Spirit.
That she was crouched down in the closet. And so I'm explaining all this. I cannot see her. Okay, so I saw her shadow, if you will. Okay, so I can sometimes see in color and sometimes I can't. Most times I can't. But I can see her. But then I can see a light, which we saw on our SLS camera, where on the other side of her cutty corner, there was something that was lighting up. Okay. But then I saw her hunched over. Like, you know, something had happened. I'm describing what I'm experiencing. So that happened. But then I was at the edge of the bed. And keep in mind, I know nothing. I'm standing there. My hands immediately start to swell and change colors. So I'm like, oh my God. So we're showing it. We're doing that. I feel someone grab my leg and my wrist starts to burn. I ignored it. I ain't gonna lie, because sometimes you got to keep going or whatever. It wasn't until we had to sit down, because after we do our investigations, we sit down with our clients and tell them everything that we found. And when she said that she had been grabbed by her ankle and pulled,
that's what happened to you.
That's what happened to me. You know, and the fact that it was a female, which I picked up on, and she asked me, she said, well, did you see what she was wearing? And I said, no, I couldn't see what she was wearing. What is the significance of that? She said, because I see her walking back and forth in the hallway. I get the chills and stuff like this, let me tell you. But longer story short, after that, because we had another investigation to go on with the demonic mirror. Yeah. And
Can we get to that one? Wait, what was the wrist real quick?
Yeah, so when I got in the car, I looked at my wrist and there was a burn mark. And so I called my partner, Jamie, and told her, she said, don't say anything. Oh, she said, what she said was it by the bed? I said, yes. She said, we have proof. And the SLS, they have it on the SLS where spirit was actually touching my wrist at that moment.
Okay. So before we get into this demonic mirror, and since we're talking about what is this SLS, can you pick it up and show the camera?
Yeah,
so these are like all the gadgets that they take in when they go into these paranormal investigations. Yes. So what is this?
So this is one of we have two SLS cameras. This is my newest one. The technology is a little bit different. What I love about this was, you guys have seen it on TV, the stick figure people and things like that. Well, that's what it shows, is when spirit comes in, it can show itself on here in the stick figure, okay? But what I love about this one is if there's a portal, this opening or vortex, it'll show that. If there's orbs that we can't see to the visible eyes, it would show that. If there's anything that's manifesting, it will show that. And a lot of times we don't see it right when we're looking at it, it's not until I go back and review the footage that we'll see it.
Yeah. I'm going to share a story.
Yes, please do.
And this is why, I mean, I believe this for a lot of reasons, but but one time I went with a paranormal investigator into the Whaley house in Old Town, and we did it in midnight, and they gave us this whole tour, and I was like, yeah, whatever, and they put these types of recorders in all the different rooms, right? And they're taking us to the story of like John Whaley and blah, blah, blah. And, I was just like, okay, whatever, right? So we go to the radio station the next day, and it's like 3:00 in the morning, and I go in, and my producer just looks like he saw a ghost.
Yeah.
And I was like, what happened? And he was with me then. He's like, he was listening to all the audio from all the recorders. And on one of the recorders in the room where John Whaley doesn't like it, like supposedly he doesn't like people going in there, you literally hear a man say, "Who are you?" to us when we walked in the room, and it's clear as day. It's low, but it's, "Who are you?" And I'm like, what the fuck is that? And the only people there were me, my producer, the paranormal investigator, and they weren't even in that room where that recorder is. No one went in there.
What room was it though?
I don't know. It was so long ago.
Is it downstairs?
I don't even know.
Okay.
But it wasn't. There's no way. Like, and you can believe me or not, but we did not alter that audio. Like, it was like, what the heck? So that stuff does pick up things.
Yes, it does. And we did an investigation at Whaley House as well. And we had plenty of evidence of things that happened.
Yeah.
Somebody walked in a room and said, "Did you hear the piano?" Like, no, we didn't hear it. Then you hear it, but then you see a orb fly from the piano out into the hallway.
On that thing? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So,
I've also done some at the Cosmopolitan Hotel.
Yeah, we stay there too.
Yeah, it's this whole thing is just crazy. So let's go back to these clients, these older couples. So you identify the spirit.
Yes.
And then what do you do for them? Like, do you get it out of there? Or like, what goes on?
Yeah, because let's make it very clear. Some places, they don't want you to get spirit out. Because,
really?
Yes, because for one, they're okay with it. Two, maybe they're making money from it, like in tours and things like that. So those would be the reasons why.
Yeah, like the Cosmopolitan, Whaley. If you're not in San Diego, those are very haunted places here. A lot of people go there for Halloween. What?
Have you been to March Air Force Base?
No.
Okay, so I'm an investigator there too.
I want to go with you next time.
Listen, we do it every other month, open to the public.
Okay.
And we actually take you guys on the planes and do investigations there.
Oh, okay. So where if people want to sign up for that or what?
Yeah, so you would just go to March Air Force Museum.
March?
March. Yeah, March? MARCH, because it's March Air Force Base. Okay, yeah. So it's literally right past Lake Elsinore and stuff like that.
Okay.
It's a huge Air Force Base.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so they have planes and stuff that we actually get to take you guys on and do investigations on. So you just go to the March Air Force Base website and sign up there. It's every other month. The moment you see that it's open, you got to get it because we sell out immediately.
Okay, so if you're going to this thing, what do you get? Like, is it what, weekend, a day?
No, it's just it's a couple of hours in the evening, and we have all kind of equipment. So you guys are our guest investigators. You guys have equipment to walk around with and everything too. We do EVP sessions. We do the SD method. We do a whole lot of everything.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's exciting. I'm telling you. And think about the history with that.
Yeah.
These planes have been in war. Let me tell you, we have on the SLS what we call spirit in an intimate moment. Believe it or not.
Wait, Wait. You're saying ghosts have sex?
Yes, why not? It's the highest. Listen, when you think about it, because I had to break this really down, right?
Okay,
because
two ghosts?
Yes. And
have sex?
Yes. And they're in a specific part.
Is it like couples from here that passed over?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh,
believe it or
serious?
not, I am dead serious.
How do you know? Like, they're just going
because there is. I'm gonna tell you what we saw. We saw the two spirits, and then they came across each other. You could see they were kind of like holding hands and caressing each other. Next thing you know, one went on top, and then it was on
that thing.
On this thing, yes.
Okay.
And so, but think about it. Love is the highest vibration, right?
Yeah.
So with that, why would they not?
No, I'm just curious. Like, did they meet up there, or like, did they already go?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Is this a whole other thing? I'm so confused.
I do not know.
Okay.
But just the fact that was a aha moment for me. Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
I was a little kid. Like, oh God, no, they're not not doing this,
Wow,
type
okay.
of thing. But yeah, so March Earth for Space, that's where we do that every other month. So
Okay,
I'm going to get you in there. We're going to get it.
Okay, I'll do it.
You need to
Okay,
pop it.
wait, back to this couple real quick.
Yes.
So how did you get this woman out, or why is she still there? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, one of the things is the couple has been experiencing a lot of health issues, and so the question was asked: do you think that they're affecting us? The answer was yes. I feel that the female was affecting the husband because she didn't like men. She was put in that house. She did not want to be there, and so I think that
when she was
life
alive.
when she was alive.
Okay.
Yeah. So we think that she would have she just disliked men, and so I felt that she affected the male aspect of it. But I also saw a couple of other males that were there that they weren't like mean or nasty or demonic or anything like that. They just were men.
Yeah.
you know? And so I do feel like that they were having an effect on the homeowners. I really do.
So then so that's all they wanted you to do to answer that question? They don't want to get them out?
We got them out. So what happened, Jamie went through and she saged the place and everything. I talked to the homeowners and I put them in the space of taking their space back. So what I'll normally do is I will walk the homeowners around each room.
Which, by the way, she's a shaman too.
Yes,
so
I am.
I feel like this is where that part comes in, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So I would take them into each room. Whichever archangel shows up at that moment, that's an archangel for that room. I do a whole thing with water, rose oil, sometimes a flower where they can go and dash it with anything that they choose to do to clear that space for them. And I have them say what it is that they want, be very specific, kind of forceful with it. If you want them to be out, they don't have to say it out loud. They can say it to themselves, but this is their way of taking home, because we can go in there all day long and clear that space out, do what we do, and we can go home. But they're going to come back probably, right? So how do you keep that? How do you maintain this?
Yeah, so the people, like the owners of the house, have to like take control.
They have to take control. It's bottom line. You be fearful, that feeds them, some of them.
Yeah.
You understand?
That's what I've always said, because we were like, are you afraid? Because I feel like I can... I've never said this publicly, but I can communicate with the other side. Like,
I know you can.
But but they're like, aren't you afraid? I'm like, that's not even like, are you afraid of like the quote unquote bad, whatever?
Right.
I don't even let that into my space. Like I'm like talking to my brothers, like people's loved ones who've passed or whoever, but not that. Like you do really have to like not, once you let that in, I feel like then it's like, like I don't even fuck with that.
Yeah, and I don't either.
But some people need your help though for that, right? And that's why you come in and do that.
That is exactly
And you're able to do that without it attaching to you.
Yes. I have taken some spirits home on purpose and not on purpose. Spirits home on purpose and not on purpose.
Spirits home?
Home. Take them home with me. Yeah.
And then what happens there?
Well, I can give you an example. We were doing readings and I was on stage, and this guy who had committed suicide came and he was in the pool. I saw him. And I asked about it. No one wanted to claim him, but you could see the wife doing this. And so Jamie said, okay, who's connected to the suicide? And so she said me. And I lost it. When I say I lost it, I literally ran off stage crying to the gods, because that was the first time that I realized that he made me feel.
Hey, if you are liking the show and you want it to keep going, you got to help us by subscribing. It's real easy. Just subscribe right here. Also, comment. I don't care if you hate it. You can comment that you hate it. Comment that you love the show. We just need your engagement to keep it going. Also, if you're on social media, follow us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram at the Geena The Latina Show. All right, let's get back to it.
Was one of my worst fears, and that was being forgotten once I was gone, not leaving that footprint, or people not even caring.
Yeah.
And that's what his story was. And so I talked to the couple during break, and what was said to me was, the way he made you feel, exactly what he did to our family. He had not a care in the world. Mm-hmm. So Spirit Walker Nicole told me, she said, you have to get back out there. They need you.
Yeah.
And so I got back on stage. I gathered myself. And so I took him home with me. And I sat in my closet and I did automatic writing.
Mhm.
And because I knew the couple, I was going to give it to them when they were ready. It just never happened. So what I did was I burned it and gave it back to the universe to transmute into something positive because he was really sorry. And that's what he wanted to convey.
Yeah.
But when people are not ready to hear and accept that, they're not.
Yeah.
You know, but I had to take care of him.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's how I took him home.
The souls.
The souls, yeah.
Yeah.
And then they're released at that point.
Yeah.
We investigate a museum, and I have taken plenty of spirits home with me there. I was given a piece of from the museum. I was given Native American artifacts. I put it in the back of my car. Do you know my car smoked the seat of my car? I don't have the automatic seating. There was no reason for that to happen.
Yeah.
But what I realized was I didn't ask for permission.
Mm-hmm.
Now, anything
you just took.
I just took it.
That's
yeah, he gave it to me. It was given to me, but I always asked them for permission, and I didn't that day, and I paid for it.
Yeah.
You know?
And when she says ask for permission, I mean, I understand that, but the normal person may not understand that. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah. So when you take things, or especially artifacts, Native American, any kind of religious things, it's a good idea to ask for permission to have it.
It's not a good idea. You better do it.
Yeah, you better do it. You really should.
Cannot, like, that's why a lot of it's illegal to take stuff from like other countries, from the land, from this like rocks, things like that. Like, don't do it. When I see people do it, I'm like, what are you doing?
I know. I don't know why people don't believe. I guess it's better, to experience it, but I'm telling you, most chances you don't want to experience that, So you ask for permission and you listen, because if they tell you no, then you shouldn't do it, But I apologize for not asking. I got him at home with me now, and everything is fine.
Is he like a spirit guy?
Is it a spirit guide?
Yeah.
No, it's not my spirit guide. It's just it's of the people, the Native American people. So not my spirit guide, although I do have a Native American spirit guide. One of my background is my great-great-grandfather is a part of the Muskogee Creek tribe. So I have Native American in my blood, as well as Mexican.
Yeah.
My mother's mother is Mexican, and so now I'm learning about Santeria and stuff, you know. So
there's a whole if you're Native, that's a whole other thing. Mexican, Native
yes.
American, like it's like in our ancestry.
Yes.
And I feel like, that's why it's become taboo sometimes. Because also like, Mexicans are very Catholic, and it's like, oh, they don't correlate, and sometimes like I was a little hesitant to talk about this guy. I grew up in a very Christian home, but I now know there is a difference.
Yes.
Like, I love communicating with my loved ones. It's like it's brought so much healing. It brings so much healing to people. There is probably a bad side too, like all that stuff. I don't even delve into that, with anything. But that's where a lot of people, like, they feel it, like, especially with like ethnic cultures.
Yes.
Like I could, like, it's in our culture, but then they like turn it away because, it's bad, right? You grew up with a dad that was a pastor. What did he think?
Yeah, I had to talk with him recently and explained it to him, and he asked me questions because he wanted to know what it's like on the other side. Yeah. And so I was able to give him what my experience has been with spirit on the other side. So he's totally okay with it now.
He's good.
Yeah,
so
he's totally good with
and
it.
I think when you like, you open yourself up to a little bit, like, and you experience it, even the most religious people, like, will be like, oh my God, that is real.
There's things you just can't deny.
Yeah. And I will say with that, if you are going to go see a medium, and maybe it's not LaShawn, with anything, there are good things and bad things. Some people are not real. Some people are real. Some people are like, oh, that's fake. Well, maybe like they weren't. There's like a lot of reasons. It's like not every doctor is great. Not every acupuncturist is great. It's the same type of thing. Right. No, but when you find that real one that connects, it is undeniable.
It is.
And I've had those experiences. Undeniable.
I'm so glad.
Yeah.
I'm so glad.
Yeah, no, undeniable. I mean, like, I've trained under Monica the Medium. Yeah, and like I don't really talk about this. I don't know why. I guess I'm sharing this.
I worked one of her shows.
Yeah, she's great,
Yeah,
right?
she's amazing.
Yeah, and under James Van Prague, and so I've gone to all those things. Yeah. So I believe in all of this, and I believe in the healing factor of it, because
Oh,
I know
yeah.
we're talking about ghosts and things like that, which honestly, you healed that older couple because they probably were traumatized in their own
They
home.
were.
You know what I
They
mean?
were.
Now, would I go do what you did? Probably not. Like, that's not me. I just like to hear the good messages from but we need you because a lot of homes are like terrorists and they don't know what to do with this stuff.
Yeah, it's actually kind of sad, especially when you have children that's involved in
Yeah.
it. It breaks my heart, but I just need people to understand where there's good, there's bad. And the main thing is not to feed into it.
Yes,
The
don't feed into the
negativity.
bad.
Exactly. Now, when we investigate, we have to at times because that's our job to, right?
Yes.
So when I go in, what I say naked, meaning I have no crystals on or anything, I'm just asking for it. You know, when the ovulus says run or scratch, I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Because it always happens to me. It never happens to Jamie.
Wait, so what? Okay, so let's
So-
go into these. What is it that will say to run?
Yes. So this has this has words on it, and this does a lot of different things.
Okay.
But the main one that you see on the TV is where it will speak. And so there's a dictionary over 2,000 words that are in here. It cannot pick up what you're talking about. So literally, spirit has to pick the words and put it on there. And so it's kind of like putting a piece of a puzzle together.
So you like put it in a room and then just pops up words?
Yeah, and say I don't have my glasses, so I can't see. I
Oh,
see
okay,
else,
wear her
where,
glasses.
in,
What?
in, where else.
Oh,
So it's kind of
puzzle.
like a puzzle, or putting a piece of puzzle together as to what it's saying. And maybe it doesn't have anything to do with you or your space or anything, but just someone's just like, we have no idea.
Someone's talking to us right now?
Yes. Yeah.
So they're saying elsewhere in?
Yep.
So someone here, like a spirit,
that's
is talking to someone here?
That's what is believed.
Elsewhere in.
And yeah.
So this is what
we
they're-
don't know what it is exactly at this point. But there's times when we're investigating and it will tell us something that is directly to what we're doing or talking about. We have got names on there that we have been able to find that are actually legitimate.
Yeah.
When they say run or listen. Oh my God, have you ever been to the Palomar Hotel?
No, where's that?
It's in Temecula.
Where's that? In Temecula?
It's in Temecula.
Uh-huh.
We've investigated. I don't even know if I should be saying that. Okay, well, here we are. We're here now.
Yeah.
We've done investigations, overnight investigations, and we have never slept because the activity is nonstop. I got up out of my room and ran and screamed into a guest bed and spooned her because
Really?
I was terrified.
Yeah.
I was scared. And then a chain of events happened. The cat balls were going off. Just everything was literally going off. And then I'm looking like this, and you see this green thing scaling the ceiling. But then I hear somebody else coming behind me. It was insane.
Really?
That place was
The Palomar, is that like you could just go, or is it known
no,
to be?
it's a small hotel. So we rented the whole entire hotel, and there's rooms. So it could be other, but you're all in the same living space, if that makes any sense.
So talk about these things, because I don't know if that's exactly one, but you do these things, they're ongoing, where people can sign up and like go for, because you were trying to get me to go to one for a weekend.
Yes, mystical weekend in the woods.
What is that about?
Okay,
I was like, I don't know, but maybe.
If you really want some paranormal stuff to kick off, that's the place to do it,
Okay,
because
what is
we are
it?
literally in the middle of the woods in Wrightwood, California.
Okay.
And so we do paranormal investigating.
So you go up there with a group.
We go up there with a group for the whole entire weekend. We stay in cabins, and it's outdoors. You ever seen a Blair Witch Project?
Yes.
You know, so we in the woods. It's dark. It's you hear things and stuff like that. There's like this old wicked church that's down there that you can go visit to. Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Okay, so if those are ongoing. So if
Those
people
are
want to sign up
ongoing.
for those,
Yes,
and that's part of, but you and your partner.
Yes.
What's your partner's name? I'm sorry.
Jamie.
Jamie. Okay.
Yes,
How do they
Jamie.
sign up for that?
So you can go to Paranormal Road Trip on Facebook, or TikTok Paranormal Road Trip 2, or you can go to luminouspathwithlove.com and sign up there, or at least get the full write out as to what we
what
do
you're
up
signing
there.
up for?
Yes.
Okay, I'm still thinking about that one.
Yes, we got waivers and everything that we
Okay.
have for that, but the activity, it's a lot of history out there.
Oh yeah.
And then
Sounds like it.
right, but then
See
to
if
be
there's any other words on here.
dark, scary, You know, that's what people want, right?
Yeah.
They want to be scared, you know.
Yeah.
But
Why?
with us, you're in a controlled environment.
Yeah, and it's all love. And
It's
that's
all
why I
love
wouldn't
and
bring
light.
someone on here that's not based on love, like that. You're like, I do feel like you're like, you know, like
Oh,
you
yeah.
you want to make sure that everyone's good and
Yes,
it's not, you
always.
know, and connect when there
Yes.
is. What are some of these other things on here that we didn't get to? We already got to the
Okay.
bear.
Oh, well,
What is
two.
this? It's going off. What does that mean?
Okay.
It's
well,
going
it can mean
off.
a couple things because your phone is on there, so it could.
I'll
be
move
the
my phone away.
phone.
I'll move my phone away. Oh, now it's even
Nope.
stronger when I move my phone away.
Yep.
It was like going crazy right now.
Yep.
Now it's back to 1, but
Yep.
it was going all the way up when I moved my phone
And
away.
I'm looking. I'm like, I don't see.
What is it?
So, because sometimes it can pick up like electrical
it's going
stuff
up
and
again.
stuff, but it's going
Every time I put it by this bear
Boom.
guy.
Oh, don't talk.
Every
don't,
time I put
don't
it
talk
by
about
the
them. Look
bear
at him.
guy.
He's scared over there.
Look, you take it away. Okay, you put it by Boo Bear. I know you guys can't see us, but they're all lighting up when it's
But
next.
this one is moving too.
Okay, so what does this
So,
mean?
This means that there's some EMF that's being read. So it's possibility that spirit is around us right now.
Which is not a bad
Which
thing,
is
by the
not-
way. It could be my brothers. It could be all our loved ones. It could really be anyone, right?
It probably is your brother because it went up to a 5.
Oh, when I did that, yeah, he's
just
always
now.
hanging out. My brother's always
I
here.
love the fact that you're not
Look
scared.
at Matthew. See that name right there? That's his name. It's on a sandbag randomly here.
On the sand, you put Matthew on the sandbag.
So what is this thing?
So that one is okay. So you guys have seen the
Can I turn
music
it on?
boxes, yeah.
What does it do? What does it do?
So spirit has to walk past that and trigger the sensor. So when that happens, that means something has walked in front of that.
Okay.
So yeah. So
So-
right now it's going because that's probably the 5 foot, so it's within the range of the ceiling. So if you put it where it's not going to trigger,
Touch
get against
anything, like nothing around it?
then it'll stop.
So should
but
we-
that's the sound
So
of it.
if it stops, like say I put it there and then it stops, but it starts going, that means there's spirit.
Then yeah.
Come, let's go put it over there. Let's see if it
Yeah,
goes off.
put it-
And she's all
It's
afraid.
okay. It's okay.
Put it right there in the middle where it's not around.
So
anyone.
yeah, because it can't. You want to make sure because it's probably going to catch because this one is the 5 footer. I have a 3 footer. So anything that's within the 5 foot range that the laser is going to be able to hit. So if
you would put it where
anything,
it's like an
like
open
in
space.
that middle hallway right there.
Put it behind there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let it's still hitting
Oh, why
though.
you
It's still
touch
hitting
it?
right there. It has to
Where's
be.
your empowerment?
I think it
Huh?
has to be in the middle. You can't see this, but they're putting it literally in the middle of an open space right now. We're gonna see if it goes off. It's still too close now.
There you go.
Okay, so it's
Okay.
off right now.
Yeah, it's off right
If
now.
it starts going on,
Then you know.
that means there's a spirit nearby.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
What else we got here?
I know you ain't scared, but
I'm
that
not
one over
scared.
there,
They
he
are
got me
so
tripping
scared.
over
You
here.
know why I'm not scared? Okay, this is why I'm not scared, because I communicate with the other side. It's always been loved ones. It's always been like they give such great messages, such healing messages, and that's all I fuck with, really. You know what I mean? And
Yep.
so I think it's kind of cool.
That's amazing.
Like when my brothers turn on and off the lights, and they'll play a song on the radio, or they'll play one time like my speaker just went on with our favorite song. Like, you know what I mean? It's like you can't, like, why did it just go on? It's not even like
So then what happens if that changes a
What do you
little
mean?
bit? Because the more in touch you are with your gifts, the more things happen
Yeah.
because you are that beacon of light.
Yeah.
They know that you can see, right?
Yeah.
So what happens if something is not all unicorn poop and glitter?
Well, okay, so there was a guy that came here from STG&E one time.
Okay.
And I don't know why I'm explaining. I have not shared this, so this is going a little long, but it's fine.
Exclusive.
He came to work on something. The whole time I kept just hearing like this name, right? And I was like, dude, this guy's gonna think I'm weird. Like if I just like start like just tell him. But it was like this girl, like, and he was there. He was a cool, nice man. Like he was here for like an hour. On my way out, it was like, when spirit talks to you, you can't they almost let you not tell them because it's like you're like, oh God, I gotta tell him so it can just stop, right? So I ended up telling him like, hey, do you know so-and-so, And he looked at me. It was his niece who just passed away. And he was not like within a year, and he started crying. And then I was like, yeah, she's like, and I said she's about like 21, and it feels like, and I don't want to go into much of his story, but like pretty much like I described exactly how, and what had happened to her,
Yeah.
and then also what there was a lot of like, he felt a lot of guilt, like because she had like a drug problem or something like that, and like so they felt like they didn't do enough or they did too much. Were they enabling him and his mom, her mom, which was his sister.
Okay.
So anyways, I gave them this whole freaking reading to this ASD G&E guy, and he was just like bawling.
Oh.
And after he told me, thank you so much. Like, I'm sure he was late to the next call. Like, he was here for like an hour outside in our parking lot, you know? And
that's beautiful.
And so I wouldn't say that's peaches and cream, but I feel like that was a message that guy needed to hear. I don't even know his name. I've never seen him again in my life, but everything was what he needed to like release the guilt that they could have done something. And she came through and told him, that whatever she told him, like, it's not your fault. Like, this was my path, all these things. So I guess to answer your question, like, it's not all peaches and cream, because messages like that do come through a lot. But I do know how to turn it on and off. I will say that. And I've been taught how to do that, because then it's just overwhelming. I'm an empath too, just like you. Where you can feel, I can't feel, I do feel like I can feel people when they walk in. I know what kind of like energy they have and things like that, but I don't feel like how you feel. Yeah, thank God. I don't think I'd be able to handle that. But I used to make me sick, because I would feel everybody's energies, right? Like, for years it would make me sick, and I didn't know what, and I knew I could communicate, but I didn't know like how. So what? That's why I started taking all these classes secretly. This is the first time I'm really talking about it publicly. But more, it was for my sanity, like, because I was like, what is this? And I had mediums give me specific messages that helped me with my brothers and their death so much that I'm like, how am I like holding this gift for other people? Like, so when it comes through now, I just let it go through, and I tell them, but I am very clear on like, because they used to wake me up in the middle of the night and I couldn't sleep. So I always have to ask like, hey, let me sleep tonight, all these things. And I know we sound crazy, but it's a real thing, right? It is. But I do believe in the healing of it so much, which is why, eventually I feel like I'll share a gift. But people who know my friends, like, they'll be like, hey, can you talk to so-and-so? They really need to connect or something. But I don't like do it for a living or anything like that. But that's why, I believe it. Obviously, I know
coming
it.
out with it. I don't know. I'm just saying.
But I've never really like talked about it too much. But I've been, I've gone to so many workshops and things, because it's a skill.
It is a skill.
It's also a skill to turn it off, right? You can turn it off all the time. And I will say I probably have it off a lot. But sometimes they're bug. Like, if they want to talk to someone, sometimes they're like bugging. I'm like, yo, I can't call them right now. Let me tell you a story about recently too that happened. So one of my friends, she died a few years ago, and her brother, who, again, this is the first time I'm talking publicly about this, so very few people know.
Got it.
He texted me because he was in town. We were supposed to meet up or whatever, and I could show you guys the text message. I showed Angie. He texted me and he's like, hey, we were talking about like dinner or whatever. And then all the blue, he's like, hey, I heard you're into the paranormal. And I was like, who told you that? This is a secret. Like, what do you, well, I don't really call it that, but I do talk to dead people sometimes. And then he's like, oh, really? That's cool. And then his sister came through, right? My friend. And she was like really prominent, like, tell him. So I said, hey, your sister says hi. And again, I thought he was going to think I was weird, because to me, I don't know anything if he's into this stuff or anything like, and he's like, oh, I heard you're into paranormal. And what she was telling me is like, and I have it on text message. I can show you guys. We can show the text on this screen. I said, she's really she keeps talking about like some kind of locket, some kind of heart, a necklace. Like, she kept showing me this like necklace heart thing, right? And I texted to him. He responded with a picture, and her sister and the daughters all wear a heart locket in memory of her.
That is amazing and beautiful.
And he was like, what the fuck? Like, whatever. And so and then I was like, okay. And then he was like, oh my God, thank you so much, And then I gave him the message that she wanted to tell them at the time. And then I was also about to go in the pool. So I was like, we need to do a bigger reading later. But you know what I mean?
That's awesome.
I do feel like it healed him. And those kind of messages are so cool.
No, they're amazing. They really are. And it's needed. It's definitely needed. I'm careful about when I do that. But I had a dream, and I went into Stater Brothers like, hey, Anybody know who Connie is?
Yeah.
Like,
because you know, you're taught that they have to ask you that they want it. You can't just push it on them.
That is true, though.
Right.
That is true.
But in that moment, it was just such a like just tell him, and you felt like something. Sometimes it happens.
Sometimes it happens,
and like that CG&E guy. Sometimes it just it just happens. Like whatever. You know? But I do try not to push it. I wait till people come to me, and then
We're just having conversation, and then something to come up, and then that's your leeway into it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But the negativity aspect of it with the paranormal, you know, it's really about just being empowered because, like I said, I've been scratched, I've been hit, I've been pushed, I've been muffed. I've had a lot of things go on with the paranormal, but I look for that stuff.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So as much as I am into the light, which is absolutely the truth, I put that before anything. But sometimes you just have to get to the nitty gritty of things and let them be who they are, so that that way we can help them better, meaning the homeowners, the businesses that we go into. We even went to Catalina. We got invited to Catalina for 4 days where we investigated the entire island.
Wow.
I know. It's so now we're in, you know, we're
what the heck's going on in Catalina? It's crazy over there.
It's crazy over there. You'd be surprised about old Catalina. You know, but we're getting invited to go into these different places now, you know,
that's great.
to investigate the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah. So I'll let you do the ugly. I'll say with the peaches and cream over here. So thank you, first of all. Real quick, where can people find you?
Okay. You can find me at luminouspathwithlove.com.
Good, a little slower.
Okay. luminouspathwithlove.com.
Okay.
I'm on all the social media under luminouspathwithlove.com. You can find us at Paranormal Road Trip on Facebook or Paranormal Road Trip 2 on TikTok. And you can find all of our information there, all of the classes that we offer, because we do offer classes on teaching about mediumship and paranormal. We do investigations, so you'll be able to sign up for some of the investigations that we take the public on. And if there's something that you guys are having issues within your home or your workplace, hit us up. We got you. We do. We got 2 intuitive mediums. We work with crystals. You know, we do a lot based off of what is happening in that space. We got you taken care of. We got you.
Well, thank you for this special episode. I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you. Yay.